There's been a lot of events on animaljam that have only happened once or very few times on the game for one reason or another. Some of these events tying up to kind of a bigger, larger reveal of something going on in the game, or some things that kind of just slowly got phased out in favor of other events on the game pretty much. But today I thought I would talk about some of these old events that I quite like and actually would probably like to see return in conjunction with some of the events that might have replaced them. Make sure to stick around to the end for the special video giveaway, but without further ado, let's talk about some of the forgotten animaljam events that should return to the game. Now, I'm covering this one first because I'm honestly so surprised that they've never returned this, especially because the real world has had numerous eclipses, I'm pretty sure, since they first introduced this in like 2016 or 2017. But the Eclipse event on animaljam was something that was reflective of the real world. I think an eclipse happened where, you know, I'm not too big in astrology, I think it is, you know, where the like moon blocks out the sun at the same time or something like that. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and explain to you. I'll throw a Google search definition on screen while I'm talking about it, so it's not total stupidness, but pretty much it made the whole game into like a nighttime theme, pretty much. You know, Jamaaliday Township, Apondale, Belush, all these kind of lands, they all had like a change in map where it was a nighttime theme. Now, as I said, numerous eclipses has happened since then, so that's why I was kind of surprised why they haven't re-released these kind of lands, I guess, or like at least changed the map again for these events, because it was something that they did before. And not only that, they released a lot of items along with it. You know, there's like the whole Eclipse armor set, you know, there's like the top hat, the necklace, glove, wings, and tail, and I think there was even like a promotional set as well that you could get from a set of animaljam toys. I think, you know, you redeemed a code, you could get them or something. So like they really went in on it pretty hard, and honestly I just really want them to add this back to the game at some point, mainly because I think it would be cool if they tried to do like a day nighttime cycle in the game. I know that's something they'll never do for classic anyway. I know it is on Play Wild, but I know it's not something they do on classic, but this is like the closest thing you would get to it, and they have the maps ready to go. All they would need to do is just change it for when these eclipses do happen. So I don't know, maybe it's something that they didn't think of, or maybe they were just too lazy to do. I don't know, but yeah, I wanted to put this one first because this is one I would definitely really want to see return, and I think should return at some point. Next here we have Hatapalooza. Now this has returned a few times. It's kind of been random when it does. I think it's happened a total of 3 times, like every 4 years maybe. I don't really know. I kind of stopped keeping track. But this would pretty much just be, as it kind of explains in its name, it would just return a bunch of old hats to stores where you could buy them for pretty cheap amounts, if I'm remembering correctly. And they would pretty much add these stands around the whole map where you could click on them and then buy the hats pretty much. This was kind of most notably known for returning top hats a lot, so you know, people probably wouldn't be, and they usually aren't, fans of when they return top hats all the time. I know personally when this first happened, I think it was in like 2012, this was like diabolical for the game because top hats were like the top of the chain item back then before anything else, and it kind of like ruined the rarity system at the time when they did actually re-release top hats for the first time. But I think this is something they could work off of, not even just returning the standard hats that they usually do for these Hatapalooza events, just kind of trying to recolor some of the hats that they do usually bring back in like new fresh recolors. Even though animaljam, you know, kind of butchers it sometimes with recoloring items, I think it would still be pretty cool if they return this with even the ugly recolors that they do typically do for some of these items. Now here we have the hidden egg hunt. Now this is kind of what I was referencing at the start in the intro, talking about events that might have been replaced with different ones. This one I feel like was replaced by, I think it's the Spring Festival adventure, which I'll show footage later on. But explaining what the hidden egg hunt was, you would pretty much just go around animaljam's map during Easter. So this would typically happen around March and April when Easter does fall, and you would go around the map finding hidden eggs, and at the end of all, when you collect all of the hidden eggs, you would get a prize. Usually this is where the eggs and the pedestal items came from. I think the golden egg as well was one of the years, and then there was also a egg basket where it would be a bunch of like little mini eggs where you click on them and it would like little pets would come out of them, or like a phantom would come out of it. I don't know. Cool items regardless, and what I'm trying to get at. And while they kind of still do these scavenger hunt type of things, I know in 2021 they kind of returned it for the first time in years to do like an epic hunt of like epic plushies, and then they did it again in 2022 2023 for, I think, giant alpha plushies, and then they did it again this year for dinosaur plushies for the birthday of Animaljam. I don't know, really weird themings on all of those, but I'm mainly talking about the Easter one because I believe this got phased out in favor of the Spring Festival adventure, which is kind of the same thing where you go around an adventure map and you pretty much collect a bunch of eggs and get a prize at the end, as you normally would. Typically how adventures are. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, it's kind of the same thing. You're collecting eggs and getting a prize at the end. But I kind of wish they would just do both of them at the same time. I don't know if that's like asking for too much or something, but even if they return some of the old prizes, I don't think people would mind. I think the egg on pedestals might be worth a bit now. I don't know. I haven't kept up with worth, but I don't know. I thought it was like a thing to look forward to in Easter a lot of the time, where now Spring Festival adventure, you know, people don't really play it too much. And if they do, it's just to get the seasonal items and then they stop playing it. Now this one, I think I'm kind of known at the moment for not shutting up about the Jamaaliday gift calendar, probably, given how much I think I've talked about it. But I'm not going to go too in depth because I have a video on why this was actually removed. I posted it, I don't know how long ago because I'm recording these videos ahead of time. But regardless, that video should be up by now. But this was obviously removed in favor mostly of the Jamaaliday gift stand instead that you kind of see around the game nowadays. But yeah, there was a lot of outcry anyway last year in 2023 when this was first removed for the first time, but even still, this Jamaaliday gift calendar, I feel like people would like both, even if the Jamaaliday gift calendar is broken, which is mainly a reason why it was removed. But the Jamaaliday gift calendar itself changed a lot through its years of actually being a thing. I know the very first year it was put into the game, and when I actually was playing when it was out, it was just like a gift bag selection screen. You just click on a gift bag and you get a prize pretty much, and then it kind of grew into, you know, a whole advent calendar system. And it was like only day 1 to 25 where you get gifts up until Christmas Day, and then it kind of evolved into the whole month of December you would get a gift pretty much. Obviously had like different changes. Like, I think some years only members got diamonds, and then other years they made it so everybody got diamonds throughout the days of the calendar, and you know, different prizes and different items, all that kind of thing. But I will forever love this calendar for a multitude of reasons, so I will not miss an opportunity to talk about it in a video. Now, the message in a bottle event was kind of building up to sheep being released. I'm pretty sure it was like a whole thing where one of the alphas got kidnapped or something by phantoms, and they were writing from enemy lines or something, messages in a bottle, and you'd go to Crystal Sands and you'd pick up the bottle that would come in through every few days or so, and you'd get a message, and then you get a prize. And these were like various prizes. Like, I think some days you get gems and diamonds, and some days you get like clothing items and den items. I think most of which were just den items. This is where, you know, notoriously the sheep cloak came from anyway, back when this message in a bottle event was happening. I think it was the final prize of that whole event pretty much. But I mean, I mentioned this as if like they could return it. They very well could. I just don't know how they would do it, because the thing is, like, that was tying up to a whole adventure reveal, a new adventure, and then also a new animal. I feel like if they just randomly did the message in a bottle feature now, it would just be kind of weird. Unless they were like tying it into the lore of the game somewhat. I don't really know, but regardless, I figured this is an event worth mentioning at the very least, because it was a cool thing for when it did happen at the time. And maybe, you know, wishful thinking, if Animaljam ever, you know, gets consistent updates again, by the grace of gods, we see something similar return when that does happen, if it does. Now, I'm just gonna throw this here. I'm just labeling it as banner events, but this is typically for when you'd like log into the game and like a drop down banner would kind of show for the various holiday or events that might be happening on the game. I know for some of them there's like April Fools and maybe Jamaalidays, I want to say, but you know, there was some of them for, you know, events or milestones, I guess, for achieving 100 million players on the game or 10 million players on the game. I think a drop down banner also would drop down when you would log on to the game. And speaking of stuff like that as well, they would get like redeemable codes to go along with it, especially for the 10 million and 100 million one anyway. But yeah, I figured it was worth mentioning at the very least, just for organizational reasons, I guess. But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up here. I felt like there might have been like maybe more events that I could have been forgetting about. Maybe there is, you guys can let me know in the comments. But regardless, even though these events that I talked about are, in my opinion, really good, there's still a lot that goes on in the game that kind of interchanges around throughout the year. So probably not missing out on too much without these things being a thing anyway. But yeah, we'll wrap it up here. And as for the video giveaway, we're gonna give away a pink party hat for this video. All you gotta do is like the video, subscribe to the channel with notifications on, and then drop a comment down below with your username, status, and letting me know what was your favorite part of the video, which event I guess is your favorite. And yeah, with that, I'll catch you guys in the next one.